Hey guys, this is Chin from the Pendit. I'm at Rutgers in Foreign Hall in a lecture theatre. Luckily, it's empty for now. If anyone shows up, say hi to them. Today, I'll be going over a pen that either everyone knows about, everyone has, or everyone wants. And that is the Lamy 2000. This thing was established, it was first brought up in the early 50s. I'm pretty sure Watson had a Lamy 2000. Pretty sure. And for a good reason. It's a stunning pen. It's super simple. It's not overstated. There's a lot of elements to it that just make it a good daily writer, I guess. And I've been carrying this for like weeks now, at least for like 2 weeks, and which for me is pretty big because like I switch out pens every 2 days. I like it though. It's awesome. So this pen is made of a reinforced fiberglass called Macrolon. Macrolon is licensed to someone else in Germany. It's not Lamy proprietary, but Lamy has license on this type of Macrolon. There's about 20 versions, and it's a fiberglass reinforced plastic. So it's pretty strong, but I wouldn't want to step on it. It's not like steel, but it's still pretty good. It's pretty lightweight for what it is. I'll put the dimensions on the side right here, so you should be able to see them. This pen is, in my opinion, the best one I have so far. And I have vanishing points, I have pilots, I have custom 74s, I have 3776s. This thing is brilliant. It's so understated that no one would come to me and say, "Oh, what pen is that? That looks so cool." Like I had my custom 74 in the music nib just out and I was using it and everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's such a cool pen." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." And I was like actually working, so I couldn't afford time to explain it to them how much ever I wanted to. But this is so understated, almost no one comes up and sees it or like says anything about it. And those who do know what it is. So I don't have to explain anything because it's that good of a pen. I've had it inked with Lamy Blue Black, Monteverde Blue Black, and Waterman Serenity Blue. I have two of these guys, both in mediums, and I'll do a writing sample pretty soon, and it's a pretty fat medium and a pretty wet medium as well. I'll do a writing sample and you'll see that. So let's start with the anatomy of the pen. At the top, there is a kind of flat-ish thing that's glossy, flattish cap band that's glossy. And I'm indifferent to it, but it feels like it could be a good place to engrave something, and I might actually get that done soon. At Rutgers, there's like a thing called Makerspace, where you can just go and do whatever you want. I have to look at the material after Dr. Lamy and see if that's possible. If I can engrave it. It's going to obviously avoid warranty, but I have two of them, so it's okay. Right below that, there's a small groove, about maybe a mil squared each on each side, and that runs on the whole of the pen. Again, I don't know what to think about that. It's okay, I guess. The cap, okay, it flares out a little bit, but before it flares out, there's like a straight post to the clip. The clip it's pretty good. Like I have the other one that I have functions well. It's designed the exact same way. I'll just go through the design real quick. It's a triangular shape from the front and then square on the sides. It's a steel clip. The best part I feel about this clip is it's hinged, so it's super easy to just slip on a pocket and you're good to go. But the issue I have with this clip is that it shakes. Like if I just hold this right there, and you can see it just wiggling back and forth. It doesn't happen to my other one. It does not happen to my other one, sorry. So it might just be something on Lamy's end. It started jiggling the moment I took it out of the box, but it's okay. I don't use a clip as much. I put it in a sleeve and I just shove it in a back pocket of mine. So once you get over with the clip, the cap spreads out a little bit, and then there's a small step down to the barrel of the pen. The pen is classically cigar shaped. It has it's thin here and then goes up down here, and then again tapers down to a flat end. The finial has just a steel kind of insert in there. It's okay. It's simple. It gets the job done. It's a pretty simple pen. It's flat on both ends more or less. I tried making a stand, but this is so small, it doesn't stand. Once you take the cap off, there is an ink window. The ink window is so small. I have no issues with it, to be honest, because if I see it has ink in it, that's all I need right now. I think it's almost empty right now, so I'll have to fill it for the writing sample. But while you're writing with it, while there's even a little bit of ink, you can see the ink, meaning you can't see the ink window because the ink window is almost translucent. It has striations through it because of the fiberglass in the macrolon. And the ink just like opacitizes it. I hope that's a word. If that's not a word, comment section please. But yeah, if it's upright and there's less ink, you can see through it. The other way around, you can't. It's like a Montblanc 149, which many of you don't have, neither do I. It's a Grail pen with an oblique triple broad nib. But we'll see how that works out. Right above the ink window, there are these two stubs, and they help latch on to the cap. I'll make you hear it real quick. Yep. So inside the cap, there's these four kind of prongs that actually hold the two of these overhangs in them. Sorry, and it transitions almost seamlessly to the steel part of the pen, which just is like how do I say this? It's like a section. It's not a section per se because it's like there's no step down. It's just smooth. So I've seen someone hold a pen as far back as this. I hold it like over there, which you'll see in the writing sample, and some people hold it all the way down there. And that I feel is the best part about the Lamy 2000. It adapts so easily, and there's almost no problems. And then it comes to the steel. It comes to the 14 karat gold nib. I have a medium on here, and it fills super easily because there's a filler hole, and that like takes up the ink, and it's pretty far down, so you can get almost all the way down to any bottle of ink you have. And the filler hole also acts like a syringe. Like it acts like a jet. When you like take it off, it acts like a jet. It's amazing. So yeah, it goes all the way to the cap. It's a pretty smooth nib. This feels like a medium stub for some reason. Again, you'll see that in the writing sample. I don't know why. I love it. Trust me, I love it. It gives me a little line variation without any pressure. But it is weird to people who start out because they expect like just a circular nib that just fits on the page and like just puts an even light throughout, right? And they don't get that. And when they don't, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Is that a stub? Did you grind it? I'm like, nope. That's why I use this one instead of the other one with the cap that isn't, that doesn't move like this. That's why I like this one more. The thing about the nib is, though it's 14 karat, I wouldn't advise you to push it through its limits because, again, it's a hooded nib, and the hooded nib helps you to helps you keep the pen on for much longer. While I'm writing notes in lecture, I'm not writing consistently, so I need to hold it for a second, and the hooded nib helps to keep it wet. When I do write, I like to have it unposted. It just feels better for me because I have like smaller hands. It does post securely. You can hear a small audible click. I don't know what that's from. I'll make you hear it right now. Okay, got that? I'll increase the volume and then you can hear it again. Okay, take your volume back So it does post properly. There's a slight amount of resistance, but once you overcome it, it posts pretty securely. It's not going off anywhere. I'm not even putting my hand down. It's never going off. But yeah, that's the overall review, gist of the pen. Now, what I like about it is, again, it's understated. It's easy to use. It's a piston filler, so it holds about 1 and 1.3 mils of ink. It has a decent nib, relatively flexible, not too flexible, where it bleeds through the paper. And I have like really cheap paper because, I can't afford really good paper. If anyone can sponsor me, sponsor my paper, like just Rhodia paper or any fountain pen friendly paper for next year. Because I'm a senior now and I only have 1 year left. I'm hoping for a PhD right here, but we'll see. What I don't like about this pen, there's not quite a lot that I don't like about the pen. Okay, all right, one thing I don't like about the pen. When I go to fill it, because the whole thing is brushed, even the macron and the steel, it's slightly brushed, so it helps grip a little bit. The steel, even after you wipe off some of the ink, it tends to hold some of the ink, so I have to like wet a paper towel and just go over it to get all the ink out, just for aesthetic reasons. But I feel that's the only thing that I don't like about this pen. Otherwise, it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna go fill the pen real quick, and then we'll go to a writing sample, all right? Okay, so here's the pen, and here's the ink I'm using. It's Monteverde Blue Black, the new one with the ITF technology, which stands for ink treatment formula. It's relatively new, about maybe a year ago. So let's fill this pen. The piston mechanism is counterclockwise for unscrewing it, so you can't see this. So I'm just gonna unscrew it real quick. I'm gonna unscrew this. Okay. And then put the nib in the ink and suck up ink. What they advise you to do, because the piston's pretty full, they advise you to put 2-3 drops back in. Okay, so I just did that, and then I take the piston all the way back up. What you can sometimes see is some of the ink there's some ink in the grooves on the stainless steel. And like here's a paper towel. That amount of ink is so little, it doesn't go. And it might be annoying for some people. It doesn't get in your hands, it's completely dry. But what I like to do is I have a little dollop of water right there. I just take the paper towel, put some water on it, and then just like run it through the feed. So see, you can see ink already. Not this side, this side. Some ink over there. And the more I run on it, the more ink comes out. I haven't touched the nib at all. And that's the amount of, that's a lot of ink that came out. So yeah, let's go to writing sample. All right, so this is a writing sample. This paper is just a regular college notebook. I think it's called Wexford, if I'm not wrong. It's a Wexford College Notebook. It doesn't say how many grams, but it feels like 80 grams. It's not terrible, but it's not bad either. So this is a Lamy 2000 in a medium nib with the ink as Monteverde Blue Black. Okay. Okay, so let's go for a writing sample. I've never had this pen skip on me, ever. It's I don't think it can ever skip because the hooded nib doesn't let the tines spread apart at all. So let's just try to get some flex out of it, okay? That's as far as I want to push it. But you do get a decent amount of line variation, not much, because you can feel the hood of the nib, the one that made with steel, push back. It's a pretty good nib. It's really wet. The pen is really wet, even on this absorbent paper. If you're on a Rhodia, it would take about 20 seconds to dry. Here, it's about 6 to 7. This is still pretty wet. Okay. The only reason that dried is because there wasn't that much ink that was deposited. If you write a few lines, you can still see the ink. Okay, fine. Maybe I can see the ink because of the lighting. I have a really, really terrible camera. I'm using one on my phone. But it's still pretty wet. If you pat it down, okay, like let me just write something. I'm a bio student, so I'm just going to write about transpose on a little quick. It's still pretty wet, okay? Like, it's still pretty wet, but if I just close the page, there's not a whole lot that comes on the other side, and it doesn't bleed as much. You just have to be careful, like you're not smudging it while you're writing. If you're a lefty, I don't feel this pen's for you because it's pretty wet. If you get one with an extra fine nib, maybe, but you gotta experiment with that yourself. All in all, I really like this pen. It's been my daily writer for about 2 weeks, and that's really a long time for me because I usually switch my pens out every maybe 2 days on average. The only pen I had more than this was my Conklin All-American, which I had for about 4 or 5 days. This has been with me for 2 weeks. Thanks for watching. All information about where I got these pens and the ink is in the description. Well, I'll see you next time. Stay safe.